Welcome to another exhilarating episode of Comic Book Straight Talk, brought to you from the secret basement inside one of America's oldest comic shops, Tulsa's own The Comic Empire. Now, true believers, open up your ear holes and get ready to have your head filled with the best comic book knowledge this galaxy can handle. That's right, it's time for another nerd overload with Comic Book Straight Talk.
Welcome back to Comic Book Straight Talk. This is Terry.
Dalian.
Kenny.
Carrington.
And today we are going to discuss how do you order comics, a little bit of the history on comic specialty shops and distribution. But
how do you order comics, Terry?
well, right now, let's go ahead and hit the history to get a little bit. I mean, when I was shopping for comics back in the day, the only place I knew to get comics when I was a kid was at the local 7-Eleven, or I would go to the grocery store and I'd get comics off the rack.
I remember, the earliest I remember was going to a place called Ertley's in Tulsa, and it was over at where now, if you're familiar with Tulsa, it's where the Cox building is now, over there at 27th and Memorial.
Right.
Yeah. Used to be an Ertley's there, and it became David's, or one of the, but that's where I remember picking up my first comic that I can recall, so. But I remember seeing them elsewhere, though.
So they'd be on newsstands, and they'd be in your grocery stores and candy shops and stuff like that.
What's a candy shop, man?
They used to actually have, shops with candy in them, like old-time candy shops.
Wow. And they sold comics there?
And they sold comics there.
Wow. I remember Mr. Bulky's, but back in high school, but I mean, they didn't sell comics, though. So anyway.
There weren't too many specialty shops for comics, previous to the 70s. There were a few, one that was in Toronto, and then one in San Francisco. The one in Toronto was called Captain George from like 1966, and they had moved and they renamed themselves to Memory Lane Books. And then there was Gary Arlington's San Francisco Comic Book Company, and of course San Francisco. Those are both now, they're both gone now, but those are like some of the earliest specialty comic book shops. So that's where you get your books early on, is at the newsstand and your grocery stores, etc.
Now, I'm sure you mentioned this, but all right, I'll let you go. But this is back before the direct market, obviously.
Right, before direct market.
Yeah.
I mean, there were, like I said, just a few independent retailers, or independent distributors, I should say. So, kind of the thing that kind of spurred comics slowly into becoming more specialty was actually, we discussed this in another episode, was underground comics.
Right.
As the comics started moving into head shops and stuff like that were for more mature audiences.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of got people thinking about direct distribution. And one of the things about direct distribution was you couldn't return it. That was one of the flaws about it. But they had better timing, better condition of your books, able to start a sort of a backstock. They're able to cater to more mature audiences.
But the direct market only came about in late 70s?
Late 70s,
early
right.
80s-ish. Before then, it was all magazine distributors had it. And so you had to, I guess when you ordered your Life magazine or People magazine,
right.
You had Batman 515 or something like that. You could order it also. Is that kind of, right?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of independent distributors and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
You could do it like that. But eventually in the 1970s, a guy, Phil Suling, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, he approached publishers around 1970, sometime early 70s, about starting to do a more direct, distribution. And he called it Seagate Distribution, Seagate Distributors.
Okay.
And so he started distributing comics, and he was able to start, getting them directly to markets much faster. And
so he was pretty much the father of the direct market.
Kind of got it started, yeah, getting it started. And then, so a lot of independent distributors, they wouldn't work with the direct distributor because they were afraid that they would be doing, if somebody was working with both a direct distributor and an independent distributor, that they would be getting from direct distributors at such a discount but then they would be able to return them through the independent distributors, because independent distributors you could still return them through.
Right. You just had to cut the tops of them off.
Right. And a lot of people were doing that anyway. They'd cut off the top and send that in and still go ahead and sell the book at a discount.
Yeah, or throw them on quarter shells, or
Right.
So people who had both accounts were basically getting them from the independent.
Well, that's why a lot of the independent distributors would not work with
Okay.
anybody that was dealing with the direct distributors. Okay. So around the 80s, there became a trade organization called the International Association of Direct Distributors. It was formed, which you could start purchasing product directly through either DC, Marvel, or both. The IAD had conferences, and they issued vicinity guidelines, and Steve Geppi was considered the vice president. But although Diamond was starting to set up, there was a whole bunch of other distributors as well.
Oh, yeah, you had
Bud Plant, Pacific Comics, New Media, Capital City, etc. So there was, at that time, there wasn't the monopoly that there is now.
There's no monopoly.
There's no monopoly?
There's no monopoly. That's a false rumor.
And so
Fake news?
You could order through all these different companies, but slowly throughout the 80s, also Marvel decided at one point they bought out a distributor, and they were going to have released their own comics as well.
Yep.
That didn't.
That was about the time they filed bankruptcy. Shortly after that.
Yeah.
It was Heroes World, which kind of led to the whole implosion-ish times of the comic industry. What?
You need to speak up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to speak up.
You're already hard enough to hear on this thing.
Am I? Because I hear it back. I'm fine. They bought Heroes World, which led to the bankruptcy shortly after, and the fall of the direct market. Basically, that was 89-ish, 90s around there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them started. A lot of the direct distributors had there's so many popping up that eventually they started either folding or they were selling out to Diamond. And one of the last ones was Capital City.
Right. Yeah, because everyone at the time that Marvel took over, bought Heroes World, people were wondering if Capital were going to go with DC was going to go with Capital or with Diamond. And I really think that if they would have gone with Capital, it would be a whole different market right now.
Well, Capital
was actually of the two were the better of the companies.
Capital did something early on. What was it they did early on? They were trying to make sure that the publishers got their stuff out on time.
Mm-hmm.
They were demanding that.
Yep.
And that
whereas
probably
Diamond doesn't do. So.
Yeah, they don't. And the publishers probably didn't really care for that anyway. Us get
well,
stuff
Diamond has started finding.
Now they have.
They have now, but it took a long time.
Yeah. This is a relatively new thing, but yeah, if you solicit it and it's over 3 or 6 months late, they basically charge you again and then force you to resolicit it.
Damn, Liefeld must have a lot of keys in.
And now there's now today we have stuff where it's starting to actually eat away at the direct distributor. We got online stuff going on, and we got the bookstores demanding. They're going a different route than Diamond for comics.
Well, and you even got Diamond getting ready to start up their pool box system,
yeah.
Which we've talked about in the past on here.
That's just kind of a brief history of how comics.
Now, one of the common rumors, and I don't know if there's any validity, was back in the 50s, 60s that the mob got involved in comic distribution for a little while.
In comic distribution itself, or just distribution as a whole?
In the comic distribution for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I don't know if that's true or not, but
supposedly that's what happened to Conan number 3.
Was it 3? Okay,
and that's why 3 was so hard to find for a long time.
Okay.
Because supposedly the mafia dumped a whole truckload of them into the Hudson River.
But a lot of this information can be found online, of course, and it actually is pretty interesting to see all the companies that were doing direct distribution that did eventually fold. There was, like we said, Diamond. There was a place called Fat Jack's Comic Crypt, Last Gasp.
Yeah, Last Gasp was well, they still put out stuff occasionally, though.
Last Gasp was still active.
Uh-huh.
Westfield Comics is a subscription service. They're still active.
Yep.
Action Direct is now defunct. Alternate Realities Distributing, which was acquired by Bud Plant. Big Rapids Distribution went into bankruptcy. Bud Plant was eventually acquired by Diamond.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know Bud Plant was acquired by Diamond.
Capital City Distribution.
I guess that's why he doesn't put his catalog out anymore, huh?
Yeah. Was acquired by Diamond. Charles A-Bar Distribution, acquired by Bud Plant. So that eventually now is Diamond. Cold Cut Distribution, assets acquired by Haven Distribution.
I was going to say, they're still active, I think, with doing underground stuff, I think, still.
The Comic Distributor, acquired by the Big Rapids Distribution. Comic Kingdom, acquired by Glenwood Distributors. Comics Hawaii is defunct. Comics Unlimited.
Friendly Franks was a real good one, too, for a while.
Donahue Brothers went into bankruptcy. Just a whole list of them. It's interesting to see how many there were. Some of you may recognize from the past. Like you said, Heroes World, which was acquired by Marvel Comics.
Right after Toy Biz.
So, if you get a chance, and then this is something that really does sound more interesting to you, you might go online and just dig into it a little bit more. It's fairly interesting reading. I probably didn't...
Well, now that we've touched on the history of it, kind of.
Yeah, how do you order
comics, Terry?
Well, that's what I was going to go into. You guys work at the shop. And if somebody came in, I mean, there's going to be, all shops are going to do it differently, of course. And online is going to be doing it differently. And I can touch on online a little bit.
Is it really work?
Not really.
So how do we order comics if we come into their comic store? And how do you go about ordering comics now?
Well, it depends.
Yeah, I mean, are we talking like the customer? Or are we talking like how Mike does it? Or are we talking,
a comic, let's go all the way through. Let's go all the way through it. From the customer to Mike. What all Mike has to do as well.
Well, if it's a book that came out this week that we sold out of, we just place a reorder for it.
But if a customer came in and said they wanted to set up an account, and how would they go about it?
Oh, they fill out a subscription form.
Yeah. They save 20% off of cover price, off comics and trades.
And this is probably pretty familiar for most comic stores. You fill out what you want, and then
the thing that separates Mike's store, though, is that you can have one title or you can have 100. You can take away, you can add anytime you want.
Well, every store is going to be different.
Well, and if you have Batman on your list and you go buy X-Men, you're going to get your discount on whatever you buy, not just what's on your list.
And other stores may require you to have
some other stores that if you're down for Batman, you buy Detective or you buy X-Men, you get your discount on the Batman only.
So you come up here and you start a subscription, but then there's also the Diamond catalog, and now there's a Marvel catalog and a DC catalog, which you can go through, and they have everything printed out sometimes with the different images and sometimes the previews of the books that are coming out. You can go through there. You can select what you want to order. You tell your comic retailer.
The person came in and that they picked up a Diamond catalog and they saw that they wanted to pick up a new Image book. Joe Blow Blows Up the World.
Mm-hmm.
Number
you should
one.
Make that comic.
I think I might.
It's the new Indiegogo right there.
I just got to find an artist first. So yeah. Unless I make it stick.
Johnny's probably not too busy, is he?
He's got. Johnny's kind of busy because I dropped 7 or 8 Action Comics number 1,000 blanks on him yesterday.
So yeah, you can go through these catalogs, and the Diamonds catalog is huge.
It is. But say you want to buy, Joe Blow Blows Up the World number 1. You come in, you fill out the subscription list. You say, hey, I want this Joe Blow book that comes out in March or May or whenever. Okay. So you're down for it. It's on your list. Mike writes it down. When he does his order, he sees, hey, I got one person that wants Joe Blow. So he'll order one for Joe Blow, or for the person. He may have 6 or 7, so he may order, 8, 9, 10 copies for the store, and for his subscription. So when the book comes out, it's right in the bag when the person comes in. When the book comes in, the person comes in, he gets 20%.
Okay, so Mike's got all these subscribers.
Yep.
And they're all ordering all sorts of different books.
Yes.
So how does Mike go about placing his order? Or pretty much for the most part, how does most retailers, how do they go about placing their order?
Well, Mike has a master list that he keeps track of. So, let's just use an example here.
And most stores have a
Action
master
Comics, he has 49 people that have that on their subscription list. And so he'll order no less than 49.
Right.
But then he knows, you know what, I sell about 10 off the shelf, so I need to order 59. But then I want one or two for back stock, so 61, who knows. And really there's a guessing game through the first 4 or 5 issues, because a lot of people will put it on their list and get number 1 and then come back in and say, I do not want any more of those.
Yeah, Joe Blow didn't blow up the universe. He sucked.
A lot of it is just Mike's experience with it. And that's why sometimes when, issue 6 has something that the speculators make it hot, and Mike doesn't have any extra copies, and we're mad because Mike doesn't have any extra copies, well, that's because he probably has 12 issues of number 5 in his back stock. So he's cut the order on it. So it's something you have to keep on top of every month. So, and you'll see a lot of times on his master list where he might have this book, I have 40 subscribers, but then in parentheses he'll have like 61, and that's because he knows he actually sells 61 every month. So,
and if, like Kenny said, if someone comes in looking for it and it's sold out, he reorders them, and they'll come in about 1 to 2 weeks.
And
sometimes,
except for Marvel.
And every store will probably have a little bit of different of when they want you to come in and pick up your comics. Some require you to come in and pick it up within a week or 2.
Right.
Some a little bit more lax. And that's an important thing, is come in and pick your comic books up.
Yeah, if you have a pull list, doesn't matter if it's here, if it's at Empire, if it's at Mammoth, any of the local shops around town, or your local shops wherever you're at, buy your books. Or if you don't want them, tell the store you don't want them.
Right, tell them so that they can...
because they're pulling these books, this is money out of their pocket that they're putting out for these books, and you're being a deadbeat by not coming and picking them up.
Because they cannot send them back.
Well...
unless there's some special circumstance.
Kind of going back to what you were saying about that, about the whole being able to returnability. Like Kenny said, Marvel you can't return.
Right.
Marvel, for some reason, does not do returns. But like DC does returns. Does Dark Horse and Image?
Well, DC isn't straight across the board returnable. Some of them are returnable.
Right. Well, and
Diamond has a rule that if it ships
late,
a certain amount of time late, like if it was supposed to ship in September and it didn't ship until November, you have to make it returnable.
Or something's changed in the book, like creative team or something.
But the basic rule is it's not returnable
some of them
unless there's special circumstances.
Right. Yeah, sometimes I'll see on his invoice where it says, this list of books are returnable for credit,
And you'll notice, though, that 80% of the books that are returnable are DC.
Right.
That's why...
Because Dark Horse doesn't do it, Image doesn't do it. Occasionally you'll see a Marvel book pop up because of overships.
Right.
But for the most part, you cannot return a Marvel. And that's why the retailers hate Marvel.
Yeah.
Is because you expect them to order these big quantities of your number 1 issue that you had a number 1 issue of 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't make it returnable, So, you know what? If the last volume of Iceman I sold 4 copies, guess how many I'm going to order of this volume since they're not returnable? I'm going to order 4.
And that's one of the reasons you need to come in and get your comics, or tell if you're not getting them anymore, tell your retailer, because they're not returnable, and that's coming out of his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Mike will always tell you that he understands financial hardships.
Absolutely.
And if if you're in a financial hardship, he understands. Just let him know that you're not going to be able to get your books anymore,
I think
so he can cut his orders, so he doesn't end up in a financial hardship.
I think a lot of stores, if you're up front and honest with them about that, instead of just dodging their calls, or putting them off. I mean, if you just come in and say, hey,
can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. I'll get what I've got and no more, or I don't want these. I thank you for
Or the most popular one. I have a girlfriend now.
I have a girlfriend. I'm getting married to another good one, too. Or I lost my job.
And ordering online is similar this way, too. I mean,
it is.
They basically have a catalog up there. And
some stores,
though,
do online ordering. I know because Mike does the old-fashioned way still with the catalog.
He does. He mails his in still.
He mails
He's
his
still
in.
old
Some of the other stores will do, and you actually get another week or two if you do it online.
Almost get a full month to do your ordering.
Well, you get another week
Really
or two
close.
past when Mike would turn his in.
Yeah. See, Mike has to have his in a week before they have to have
Right,
theirs
because
in.
it
It actually equals out to almost 10 days.
Okay. Because their orders are due like the week before or like a couple days before the new catalog is coming out. So,
Whereas Mike has that.
right.
Because he has to mail his off 3 days before it's due, so he ensures that it gets there. And then another week from that is when the online orders are
Right.
due. But Mike's a Luddite, so
Yeah.
No, we've discussed it.
And he's
He
got
might.
to make sure that, I guess he just has to double check, make sure whoever gets his list is putting it in properly, too.
and they mess it up
right.
more often than you would think.
Yes,
So
I'm
the
on
new
you.
Brubaker and Phillips hardcover that came out last week, or was it the week
Love
before
of,
last?
Love of Junkies.
No, my heroes have always
You're
been
the
junkies.
Yeah.
Mike always orders, pretty good on Brubaker and Phillips stuff because he knows it'll sell. Well, since it was a hardcover, $24 hardcover or whatever, he ordered slightly less than he usually would. And then someone came in and asked him why didn't I get this? And he called them and they said, well, you didn't order any. He pulled out his order form and saw that he had ordered like 12 of them or something. And they were like, no, you didn't order any. He was like, yes, I did. So, I mean, it happens more often than you think.
So I don't know what Diamond's going to do with their pull list, but, I mean, I've done some ordering online, and you can, each one's different, but you can, what is interesting about online is you can see, they usually keep a record of what you've ordered, and you can look back through your account history, what has been ordered. Say you've been ordering a book, and you're like, and it finally gets to issue like 6 or something. You're like, I was ordering this, right? You don't remember if you ordered that or not. You can go back and look and see if you're ordering it. Depending on who they are, they can package it or not package it well. That's one of the bad things about it. But at the same time, Diamond doesn't usually do the best of packaging anyway. So you can also some shops will also go ahead and as well as online will go ahead and bag and board your books. Others won't.
God, can you imagine Mike bagging and boarding books up here on a Wednesday? On top of doing the list?
I mean, you just have to pay more.
Right.
No discount. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't get a discount. So that's basically.
No, actually, I asked Mike, I said, so if someone came in and say they were like a 50 or 60 book a week customer, right? So, that's a lot of money.
Right.
And he asked you to board and bag all his comics for him, would you do it? Hell no.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't even like boarding and bagging my own comics. Why would I board and bag
Not many
theirs?
people do. Well, that's basically, in a nutshell, comic ordering, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Unless you have something else you think that needs to be added that they might find of interest.
No.
No, that's...
Okay. Well, I just thought it was something that we might touch on. That,
yeah.
So, what topics did you have, Dal?
There's one word I'm getting real tired of hearing, and I wish it would go away, but
Twitter?
I know it won't. No, well, it does involve Twitter.
Nazi?
The whole Comicsgate thing. Can it not just go away?
Are we back at that again?
It's
Jeez.
not going away.
It's
And
not. It's
Wait,
not
do you
going
want
away.
Comicsgate to go away, or do you want pros to start treating people with respect?
Well, obviously, I think pros should treat their... If I'm buying a book and I'm treating the professional with respect, I want the same courtesy.
Yeah.
So
But
I guess both.
so let me ask you this. Someone's putting out a book and you don't like it, and it's your favorite character, and you go up to him and you say, I don't really care for the direction you're going in.
You mean like when Grant Morrison made one of my favorite bouncing blue heroes gay?
Well, I mean, if you have a problem with that, that's your problem.
Well, at the time, this is back in the 90s, Grant Morrison made the Beast gay.
Okay.
Okay? And I was like, what the heck? Beast has never been gay.
Yeah.
All this. But it was explained that he was only dating inside of his species as a mutant. So, okay.
So there's more than one blue lion-like mutant?
I guess. Well, I mean, he was only going to date
Mutants.
mutants, yeah.
Okay.
But no, I mean, I haven't liked the direction of some books, and and that's the thing. If
But,
I meet,
but do you?
but if I met I'll meet the, hey, I don't like the way this is going, but I do like your other stuff. So I mean,
okay, so here's what's happening though. I'm going to make this character gay, and then someone comes up and says, I don't really care for the direction your story's going. You're a homophobe.
yes.
Well, I didn't say anything about the character being gay. I said I didn't like the direction your story was going. So that's where Comicsgate came from.
Right. And it's
okay? So, if look, there's assholes on both sides of this argument.
Exactly.
Okay?
There are. Oh, I know.
Those
And
tend to
there's
be the
always,
loudest.
and they tend to be the loudest. And they're on both sides. Okay? There's always going to be assholes. But to generalize and say every Comicsgate member is a racist, homophobe, transphobe, or whatever, Nazi, incel. It's ridiculous.
It is. And if you don't like it, understand. I mean, not like you said, not everyone is that way. If I don't like a book, and I don't like that they made the Beast gay, no, I'm not a homophobe. I just don't care for that direction of the character.
Well, because you're saying you're not a homophobe, that makes you a homophobe.
I guess in today's society, I guess it does. But I mean,
here's my theory. It's too bad that Comicsgate has to exist.
I kind of would love to see at San Diego this year a Comicsgate panel, an end-all panel with everyone's involved.
I mean,
where you get the guy from Comics
that
Diversity guy on there, you get Mark Wade, you get the people, and a civil conversation.
That ain't gonna happen. There's no such thing as civility anymore.
Or put him in a steel cage with chairs and just let him have it out. Steel cage, Hell in a Cell, that would work. But no, apparently the newest one was Chuck Winding, and we talked about it earlier. Getting fired over his tweets, and he says it's political. That Marvel.
No, he's political.
Well, he said that he was fired. That the Star Wars editor fired him because of his political tweets and obscenities.
Well, it's because of his obscenities and the fact that he's continually attacking fans. Mm-hmm. Now, did the fans attack him? I don't know.
He did get attacked because he made a lesbian gay Star Wars character.
That's what he says. That's what he says.
Right.
Okay. Every criticism I read on Twitter after this was like, well, yeah, I told him I didn't like his storytelling because it's choppy and seemed like it was unorganized.
Right. But he's saying,
oh, that's because you're a homophobe.
Right.
So they're using these gay characters as a shield for criticism.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I've read tweets from Chuck Wendig over the last 5 or 6 months. The guy's an asshole.
He is.
And he's crude, and he attacks fans, and, it'll be out of the blue. He just attacks a fan for something they say, and so, yeah, I think he deserved to be fired, and I don't feel bad for him.
Well, I think it's funny that Marvel fired him, but yet Lucasfilm didn't.
Well, do you know that for a fact?
But apparently, though.
Maybe Lucasfilm fired him through Marvel.
Right. This is 2 writers outside of the comic, realm, who've written, top-selling books and everything, that have come into the comic field and have started this shit. And this shit's been going on.
No, Gail Simone started this shit years ago.
Well, yeah, but lately with the whole thing right now.
Yeah.
You had, what's her name, last couple weeks ago, got fired.
Who's that?
Chelsea.
Well,
for the Vision.
Before her book ever came out, and it wasn't a result of being crude and obnoxious on Twitter.
No, but after that she did. She went, and so she's calling for a union now and I'm just, what? She's unifying with Chuck, and I'm just like, whatever.
So they're going to unionize comic artists?
I don't know. Actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea. The comic industry, in a way, but.
You think they're expensive now?
Yeah,
wait till they
unionize.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, you want a $5 X-Men book? Well, too bad.
And are they going to allow people that don't agree with them politically to be in their union?
Right. And that's what I think all this. I mean, maybe I'm getting to be an older curmudgeon, but I just,
You are
we didn't have this problem 10 years ago.
I've been in
20
Well, we
years.
didn't have Twitter to voice it, at least.
Right,
So
that's
usually there's a
true.
massive-
That is true. We had MySpace. And,
Well, 70s,
AOL
they didn't
chat.
even have that.
Yeah, they didn't even have that. No, you had the back of the comic magazine to voice your opinion.
The internet is the single greatest and the single
Yes.
worst thing ever created.
Yeah, I don't follow Twitter. You guys seem to get way too upset.
Well, I found out about this last night coming back from a Joplin show I did. I saw that Sci-Fi had made the announcement about it, and was talking to our friend Steve about it as I was driving. He was looking up the stuff. So I knew about Gail Simone, kind of was involved with it, and so.
Well, she went and attacked Blake Northcott, who's like the nicest person on the internet, and she attacked Blake Northcott over it.
Yes, which Blake did a book that didn't she do?
She does a lot of books that I've picked up.
Didn't she do?
Executive Assistant Iris.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the one. Okay, yeah. I knew Steve was saying it was an Aspen book. I could not think of what it was.
Well, she's done a lot of books for Aspen.
But she's not the one doing the Kickstarter though.
Yes.
The-
She also has a Kickstarter.
About the schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, the which one? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to figure out who
North
she
Valley
was.
Grimoire.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
And she's got a new book coming out from Aspen called No World, and she's also doing the Vampirella Halloween issue for Dynamite.
Okay. I knew the name, but
And she's like the
I couldn't
nicest
place it.
person on the internet.
And see,
And even she got attacked over this crap because she found out that someone got fired from the Star Wars book on Marvel, so she tweeted out, "Hey, I hear you have an opening for a Star Wars writer. Give me a call," or something like that. And she got attacked over that. And Gail Simone was leading the attack.
see, I liked Gail Simone stuff. She's hit and miss for me. On some stuff she's really good, other stuff she's really not good. But I don't know. Lately I just kind of want to just give a big F you to a lot of the comic creators lately.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
And I'll say this. If you're a creator and you tell someone to F off, don't buy my stuff, well, not only are they no longer going to buy your stuff,
Right.
but if I see it, I'm not going to buy your stuff anymore either.
I mean,
Because it's ridiculous. There's no reason for that. Now, is there some jerk that has no social skills that's going to attack you and say something mean to you? Yes. But you know what you do when that happens as a professional? You say, well, I'm sorry you don't like it.
right. And that's what... I mean, every time I've met a creator that's something I didn't like, Neil Adams...
Yeah.
You know, I tell Neil, I see him, hey, you know, or I saw him, you know, I was, hey, you know, I'm not a big fan of this stuff you've done now, but I like some of your older stuff. You know, your stuff now is not good. And he's like, he's okay. He's like,
Yeah.
you know, he's curmudgeonly, but you know,
Yeah.
he understands. You know, it's not it's not his heyday. He's getting older.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
you're saying something nice about Neil? Usually you don't say anything nice about Neil.
Well, I'm trying to be more nicer this year, and so you know,
Well, I haven't seen that. Maybe, are you talking about 2019, or are you working up to being nicer in 2019?
well, I'm starting
Well,
2019, but you know, I mean,
I've seen people tell Neil Adams they don't like his new stuff, and he goes, and quoted words, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. What is it you don't like?
right?
So he can make it better.
Yeah,
You know, does that mean Neil Adams is going to? No.
No.
Neil Adams is Neil Adams. He's going to do what Neil Adams wants to do. But at least he's, you know, he's not saying,
Right.
well, if you don't buy my shit.
right. And that's the thing. These people are buying the stuff. If
Yeah.
I mean,
Civility.
civility goes along both ways, like we've
Yeah.
said. But you know, it's like you open up your internet computer or your internet, you know, browser, and it's just like, you know, this person did this because of Comicsgate. This person did this, and I'm just like, God, let it go.
Well, it's estimated that there's 100,000 people that are Comicsgate. Okay? There's probably 50 of those 100,000, 50 people of those 100,000 people that are assholes and are out there just to troll. Okay? There's nothing that the other 99,950 people can do about those 50
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't generalize and say, oh, all 100,000 of the Comicsgate people are racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, incels,
Right.
Nazi.
When maybe only, like you said, 50 or 20 or 50 of them are that way. You know, or whatever.
And who's to say those 50 are even Comicsgate?
Right.
those 50 may be anti-Comicsgate that are stirring shit up.
True. I mean, and also, I think Terry said when several episodes back,
and maybe some of the anti-Comicsgate people that are stirring crap up are actually Comicsgate people, just stirring crap up. Who knows?
You know, you have to separate the person from their work, kind of. Yes, this person's a total ass, but damn, he writes a damn good book, you know.
Yeah.
Simon Beasley, real nice guy. You know, draws real well. But he can be kind of abrupt sometimes, you know, to people. Especially when he's drunk. You know, I mean.
Well.
Yeah, I just try. I mean, they may be assholes, but if they're writing something good, I may read it or I may not.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, there's a difference between being just an asshole, okay, and telling someone, F you, don't buy my stuff.
Right.
Okay? True. Or calling someone a Nazi. You know, it used to be when someone called you a Nazi, you'd fight them. Mm-hmm. Literally. I mean, physically fight them over that. Yeah. And now it's just like some other word. There's no worse than calling someone a jerk.
Right, or an ass. Yeah.
That's as you were touching on it. I don't understand why they would want to say that, because why not ask them like you said, sorry, how can I, what do you think would be better or something, you know? Because you might learn something.
Yeah.
You know, just by blatantly shutting somebody off, you're not going to learn anything.
Well, and I've read Chuck's 3 books.
You may disagree with them, with the fan or whoever's telling you why they don't like what you're doing. Fine, at least you listen to them and you've either learned something or you learned that you're just going to disagree.
I think it was in San Diego. I think it was David Hahn, maybe. But I was standing at his table and someone said that they didn't like his art, or I didn't care for your art in this book or whatever. And he said, "Well, I'm sorry. You know, I'm working hard every day to get better. You know." Right. He could have stood up and said, "Hey, you know what? F you. I don't give a crap what you think."
Well, you know, I was going to say, I've read the 3 Star Wars Aftermath books from Chuck. Wendy, I think I've read 3. I know I've read 2 of them, maybe half the third one. And yeah, he introduced a gay lesbian character, whatever transgender character. You know, I like the character. The character was actually interesting. It wasn't your basic cookie cutter Star Wars character. It actually had a little bit of flair and a little bit, but I mean, I can understand the fandoms is what I'm getting. I've told Steve this. I'm getting sick of the fandoms attacking. You know, we've talked about the lady that played Rose in Last Jedi, and the lady that played, or the guy that played Jar Jar, and
I'm sure that actress is a fine actress.
Right,
it's
exactly.
The only thing I've ever seen her in was The Last Jedi, but Rose Tico was an awful character.
And but it was the character, it wasn't the actress. Though,
but
you know,
but by saying that Rose Tico was an awful character, I'm attacking her. That's the way the internet works. And like the Doctor Who fandom's going up. Oh my God, we can't have a black Doctor Who. We can't have a female Doctor Who. Literally,
who says we
no
can't?
one in the Doctor Who fandom has said that.
Well, I'm just. I
don't like the idea of having a female Doctor Who, but that doesn't mean I'm going to attack
this
actress.
So you're sexist then?
No, I'm not going to attack the actress.
You're not really a Doctor Who fan, though, are you?
I've watched just about all Doctor Who.
He's more of a fan, and I say I'm not a Doctor Who fan.
I'm not a diehard fan. I've watched them all. I've enjoyed most of them, but I'm like, you know, like, oh, I gotta watch Doctor Who, you know.
I am not a fan
I watched
of the ones...
first episode. She actually does a pretty good job.
She may do a good job. I may wind up liking it. I don't like the idea, but when I watch it, she may bring me around. Maybe I'll like her.
Well, like this whole talk
there was a line, though, that didn't make any sense at all. And she said she's, like, shopping for clothes because she's still wearing Peter Capaldi's clothes.
Right.
And she's like, I need a new look. And they go clothes shopping. And she said, and she's got, like, everything in the store piled up on the floor that she didn't like, you know, that she had tried on and didn't like. And she said, I forgot, or it's been so long since I've shopped for women's clothes. But that doctor's never been a woman.
As far as we know in the universe,
up until, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they only had 12 regenerations.
Yeah.
And we'd seen all 12, and none of them were women.
That's true, yes. None of them were women.
So that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
Unless there was an episode where he was put into a woman's body briefly. I can't think of any.
I don't remember.
But when I say I'm not a fan of probably I want to say Eccleston, maybe Doctor Who.
So you don't like Tom Baker?
I could not stand to watch Tom Baker. The old ones I cannot stand to watch.
Oh.
The penultimate.
Well,
I'm sorry.
The ultimate Doctor Who was Tom
From what I
Baker.
understand, the reason you don't like it is you are sort of a graphics.
Right.
If it
It's the way they were
doesn't look
filmed.
good.
It's like you're watching a play, and I don't, it's not.
You got to remember though, it
But
was
there was
low
the time.
budget.
It was right. I know.
And so
I know.
what they did with what they had was actually
and what they
pretty
could
good.
do was amazing. Yes, what they did.
Well,
but
you
I'm
don't
just
have to,
not a
but
fan of
You
those.
got to try to look past that and go for just the story,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually what I watch them for is the story.
Yeah.
And Tom Baker's a good actor. I think he
Yeah.
delivers that doctor.
He is a good. He
very
is a good
interesting
actor.
doctor.
He was a good. Yes, I'm not saying, but
I want to go back though to some of the artists and creators. Do you think that this is not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but they're coming, and some of the fans are not going to understand this, is they're coming from, they are working in that industry. They know what's going on in that industry. So when you go and tell them something, they're doing this every day, and it's just, very, it gets very frustrating with them working in it. You're like any job, you're working and you just get, by the time you're done for that day, you're just drained and everything. Do you think the comic fans they're not coming from that side of it? So
you're saying
Okay, so how many comic artists do you think there are right now in the industry that are actually printing comics right now?
I'm just saying, do you think that they're
But I'm asking you, in the catalog, how
I'd
many
say-
comic artists are there every month?
I have no idea.
50 to 70, maybe. That are self-publishing or what?
No, just in general. I mean,
Oh,
you
okay.
probably got 50 at DC
Okay.
alone.
You said they're printing their
Yeah.
stuff, and I was just trying
So probably what,
Hundreds.
200?
I'd say about
200 artists,
I'd say
300
2 or
artists
3, 4,
every month,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But it's only a handful that are acting like this online.
But do you think that they could let this stuff just pent up all their own frustrations and
Well,
are taking it out on?
Maybe if, say, one day,
And
I don't know, Kyle Holtz or Hotz or however you say his last name, one day he just blows up on the internet and goes on a rant, and then you don't hear from him again for 3 months. I could understand, it's probably been building up in him a while, and he had to let off steam.
so
But you see criticism about artists all the time, but there's like 250 artists that don't go on these rants and don't tell people, F, you don't buy my
So
stuff.
basically, it's pretty much the same artist and everything.
Yeah,
over and
guess what
over.
I'm
it's
saying
the
is
Bill
that-
Sienkiewicz's, it's the Patrick Zurchers, it's the Gail Simones, the Chelsea Canes that are always acting like this.
is that both sides need to look at their own side of it, and that when you're working, you have pent up frustrations, and they may
Every
have
day.
pent up frustrations when you come to the artist, and you don't know what goes on in their industry, and you're trying to tell them.
You know what? They don't know what goes on in mine.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So sometimes that can get anybody frustrated. You're coming them and telling them it's not rocket science, about their job.
Okay, I made that joke one time, and actually, I was wrong, and I understand you do a lot of work. You do a lot of layouts and stuff, and I'm not, it is, granted, yes, it's not
So,
rocket science,
yeah.
but there is a science to it.
Yeah, so that can frustrate some people. You come up to them and you're trying to tell them their job, and you don't know anything about their job. So, yeah, you shouldn't blow up at them, but it can be frustrating.
Who's paying their bills?
Right, I understand that.
Does your boss have the right to come up to you and tell you that you're not doing a good enough job?
I guess pay my bill. I guess so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, the fans are, can the customer can the customer that's buying your design from your boss relay to you that you're not doing what they want?
I guess so.
Because they're paying your bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between a comic fan telling an
Well,
artist
I'm just
that
saying, just don't go about it and be rude about it.
Well,
Just
yeah.
don't.
there's going to be those people,
Yeah.
especially in comic books.
Both.
because,
I'm saying is both need to be understanding
right.
of the other person's where they're coming from.
And that's what I'm saying. If it was, one time that this guy went on a rant, Most
like you
people
said,
would comment, say, "Well, what's up his ass?"
What happened with him?
And then 3 months later, forget that it ever happened.
is Kyle Holtz one of the
No,
okay.
because I was sitting
I was
here
wondering where you pulled that from.
because I was sitting here looking at the Cursed Comic Cavalcade. And
That's what I saw recently too, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the hell? Oh, shit!"
no. As far as I know, Kyle Hotz has always been really
What did he do
level-headed
now? I
and
forgot.
cool online.
What story did he
saying-
do?
I'm sorry that I brought up Kyle Hotz. He's
No,
not
I
one
didn't-
of the
the
people
guy-
that
they just need to-
I just saw his art and
I just
said
was
his
disappointed
name.
because I saw last night when I was up at the shop working that he had a story in there, and I just didn't know if okay.
That's why. Because
Okay,
I was
that's all
looking
I-
at the comics.
I was like, "Wait, what was the last thing he done?"
Yeah, the
I'm
Swamp
saying the
Thing
comic fans
story.
also need to just be
Which is
understanding that
beautiful.
they don't
Yeah.
know what's going on in the industry.
Okay, so
to a degree.
all right, so
Some
I'm
may-
going
some may,
to
some others don't.
segue out of this because
into
it's like
something
every,
else. Yeah,
it's like every
something more
episode.
positive.
Yeah. 2 of the 3 of us saw Venom. Have you seen it yet?
No.
No. So we're not going to talk spoilers.
No spoilers.
But
It is the #1 movie for the 3rd weekend in a row, though.
You really enjoyed
I've seen it twice, and I'm probably going to see it a 3rd time, which is very rare because I usually only see movies once or twice. I really enjoyed it. I thought Tom Hardy did a really good version of
Eddie Brock.
Thank you. All I could think of was Kyle Holtz. I'm sorry. Of Eddie Brock, and I liked it. I had a problem with I couldn't figure out who did the voice of Venom.
Did you ever find that out?
I did find it's Tom Hardy.
Okay, well, yeah. No, I enjoyed it.
Okay, besides the Dark Knight, was it Dark Knight Returns the last one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So outside of Dark Knight Returns, what movie have you seen Eddie Brock in that you didn't, or not Eddie Brock, but Tom Hardy in that you didn't like Tom Hardy in that movie?
I don't know. I don't follow what.
I'm trying to think what other movies he's done.
What movies
that
has
I've
he been
seen.
in?
Exactly, because whenever he's in a movie, he becomes that
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Well, and I
So
think
he was in Inception. He was in Lawless.
Haven't seen either.
He was in the TV show Taboo.
Haven't seen that.
He's been in a ton of stuff. But he's so good of an actor.
He is Eddie Brock. I mean,
Yeah. When he's in a movie, he becomes that
Yeah.
character, and you don't even. I'm like, when I saw Lawless, I was 20 minutes into it before I realized that it was Tom Hardy.
That's the one. Was that the one where there's
The Moonshiners.
Yeah, and it had what's his face in it.
that guy.
Yeah,
He's
that-
in a lot of movies. What's his face? Along with Yehutsi.
That was in. What is it?
It'll come to you.
It was.
I'm
He
going
was
to
in
kind of
Transformers. First Transformers movie, wasn't he in that?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
Yeah.
action
Which I'm not
superstar
a
zombie Shia
huge fan
LaBeouf.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lawless was a good movie. No, Venom was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was a great movie. It's not.
I
Just,
kind of agree because Christy and I saw it first, and she's kind of reminded. She went to me with this. It's like they made a dark action adventure movie, but forgot to tell Tom Hardy that it was a dark movie because he's comedic in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It was sort of a dark comedy.
it really
It was
was.
better than Black Panther, definitely.
And you know what? I did not need to have Spider-Man in it. No, I mean you knew Spider-Man wasn't in it, obviously.
Wasn't?
Was
Or-
not. It was not.
Okay.
He didn't. No,
I didn't
yeah.
think you would be.
Yeah, no, he's not. And but people are like, well, how can they do the symbiote story without Spider?
They already did it, and it was not good.
Well, we're not going back to that Spider-Man 3 movie. But if you've seen the animated Spider-Man movie from the 80s, 90s, it falls
Look,
on
if
that.
you're going to see Venom, you know the story.
It's a
Okay.
creature feature. It really is. Go get you some popcorn, get you an icy or Coke, and sit back and eat the popcorn
But
and enjoy it.
if you're going to see Venom because it's a Venom movie, you already know the symbiote story
Right.
anyway.
Exactly.
And they had their own
So-
little twist on it.
Well, because it falls back to that animated series.
Right.
When they did it. That's kind of, it follows that story in a bit.
Which
Didn't
I kinda
it go with
like
the
that story a little
ultimate
better.
storyline where it was like they were trying to develop a cure for cancer or something like that.
It-
In a
it
way,
kinda
but
has
the way
that
they
worked
get
into
it's
it as
J.
well.
Jonah Jameson's in an animated story. J. Jonah Jameson's son John brings it back on the shuttle. They kind of go with that.
Yeah, because he was. Yeah, it attached. It chose not to. For him, it chose against him because he was already Man Wolf or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't care for the special effects all that much, but I can look past
See,
that because I like Doctor
I
Who
thought
as well.
I thought the special effects were great.
I
mean,
didn't think the Venom suit, it looked very, just,
it did kind of
which
look
surprises me that you like that, because you don't like the special effects of Doctor Who. It looked like an old Doctor Who kind of.
I thought the Venom suit. It kind of reminded me
the full suit. Once he had it on,
it reminded me of
kind of cheap.
And it's the funny joke now that the meme is that Venom's eating a Snicker bar and he turns into Toothless. The How to Train the Dragon. So it's kind of, it worked. It really did. The tongue, everything was just pure. I thought Venom, and it actually made me want like Venom.
Everything I've read online, people have loved it.
Granted, now there are a group of people who were putting out bad reviews on it, just so that their pop star
Russian bots.
That their pop stars movie could have been number one for the movie for the week it came out, but Lady Gaga's fans were putting out bad reviews.
She has a movie?
She's in The Star Is Born. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it came out the same weekend, and so they were trying to tank Venom, so it would be good. I'm glad we're not video. No, I'm just kidding. And we couldn't see Terry's eye roll. But no, Venom is really good. Go check it out, and I will, like I said, we'll probably go see it, probably the next week or so again. So yeah. Anything else you got? Anything you want to talk about? Any deep, dark comic secrets?
McFarlane doesn't like the tongue. You know that, right?
Really? He doesn't like the tongue?
He hates the tongue.
But he's the one that did the tongue.
He did not. No, he did not. When he drew Venom, he did not do the tongue.
He didn't draw the tongue?
No, that came later.
Was that an Eric Larson thing?
I think it was Eric. Eric started doing the big T.
Eric's a dick anyway, so.
Well, he just
he's lost his damn mind.
McFarlane, his thing was
porn now anyway.
The tongue doesn't really do anything. Doesn't have a feature. Yeah. And if it was him, he would take the tongue and make it do something. The tongue would be able to lash out, and hit somebody, and
Well, hasn't he choked people with his tongue before?
I think so.
He probably has. Venom has developed just over the course of years, and different writers and different artists.
When I'm sitting there watching the movie the first time, and I kind of got the John Carpenter feel. The John Carpenter Thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Things feel.
Terry wants to fight you now for comparing the two.
No, cause in relation to the symbiote and how it kind of.
Just so you know, the Thing was a total rip-off of At the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh yeah, there's no original stories anymore. But no, you know what I'm talking about, right? Without going into spoilers about how the suit, how it gets transferred.
Yeah.
That kind of I thought of the John Carpenter's The Thing.
That Invasion of the Body Snatcher type thing as
well. Oh yeah, but
I think most people.
And I'm not a huge Thing fan, so I'm not a big horror fan.
Of the Lou Ferrigno Hulk. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to back up. There's going to be a
fight. It's going to move from one body to another.
There's going to be a fight here between Terry and Kenny in a minute because, I'm just kidding.
I like Lou Ferrigno's Hulk. That was fun, cheap, nostalgia.
The transformation thing.
Yeah.
I got to get something out of this. No.
So
I really liked it.
Have you watched The Chair yet?
No, I don't think so.
That was that Alterna, the first book that you picked up from Alterna.
Oh, they did a movie
on
it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's on Amazon Prime.
Is it a series then about it? Or is it a movie?
It's a movie about
okay.
It's an adaptation of the comic.
Really? I didn't know anything about that.
Starring Roddy Piper in his last role.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that delayed or something for a long time?
Yeah.
Well, I'd hope so, because he's been dead for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And it also has one of the Road Warriors in it, too, I think.
I think there's only one left.
Yeah. There's Hawk and Animal.
I was like Dove. Sorry, no.
Hawk was the one that died, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And did you see my message about Secret Six? You were asking about that in the theater.
I was thinking it was going to be something on the DC channel whenever they.
No, apparently the CBS is optioning it to do a TV series. So
it'll be on CW in 2 years.
So yeah, I heard something about the Secret Six, and I wasn't sure what was spurring the.
Must have make it a comedy.
Spurring the Secret Six becoming hot all of a sudden. So that must have been it.
Yeah, that's what. I found that out this morning when I was reading through some news stuff. So once I was going
because Secret Six has never been that the original Silver Age books have never been popular really whatsoever.
Is it the original Secret Six, or is it the Gail
picture they
Simone
show
Secret
is
Six?
the Gail Simone Secret Six, the
Yeah.
Parademon.
Well, those were hot when they came out, and then they've been steady sellers out of back issues.
The stories were good. There again, that was when she was a hit. You know, her miss was Wonder Woman.
Filter into those as well, but right now that those Silver Age
Right.
books that came out are what's...
And I told him it's because Steve Ditko passed away, which could be.
I think that's probably is because
Yeah.
Ditko passed away.
So
Because that miniseries from the Silver Age has nothing to do with
Mockingbird. That's
making.
about the only thing. That character. But-
But for some reason, that just spurred that one to become hot right now. So
Because people that speculate on all these movie books have
no life and
I'm
I
not
don't-
saying that.
I'm
I'm just
not- I
saying
know.
that they never make any sense.
No. You know what I think? And I've mentioned it. People who are going up, is it Giant Size Miss Marvel?
Giant Size Miss Marvel, yes.
Giant Size Miss Marvel, because in the Captain Marvel trailer they show the cat,
It's a poster. It's a
the
poster.
poster of her cat.
Well, no,
Like
it's not a poster of the
Giant
cat.
Size
Oh.
Ms. Marvel that came out like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes.
Well, it's probably been more like 10
Yeah.
years ago.
It got hot there for a brief minute. I think it was a poster that came out, and she's standing in the middle of a air hangar, and really dark in the shadows is a little bitty the cat. You can't hardly see it, and so everybody's like, "Oh, the cat's going to be in the movie or something like that." So everybody's out looking for that book because it's the first appearance of Chewie,
cat.
the cat. Yeah, the cat.
Come on, say. I know you want to say it.
Now I kind of wonder. I wish we did have video.
You kind of want to. What? Which I think it's stupid.
Jesus.
You know, I mean, that's like the first time that a character's called, Bobby Boy or something. You know, I mean, and yes, I have speculated in the past. I know.
So here's my thing. If it's a big deal that there's a comic book being turned into a movie, why aren't the comic books that were made from movies not hot? If the movie's all that matters, wouldn't movie adaptations be hot?
It's bizarre
Oh,
which ones
yeah.
become hot and which ones don't, or which ones continue to be hot and then last and which ones fall off. Because, there's always something being announced for TV. There's always something being
Why isn't the
announced for
first
the movie.
appearance of Phil Coulson worth $1 billion?
I-
You can literally buy him out of dollar boxes.
Right.
Well,
Because
or like
no
the
one cares.
First appearance of Samuel L. Jackson. It's Nick Fury in the dollar.
Yeah.
I mean, why is that not hot?
there's,
It's the first
That
appearance.
was Ultimates #1.
Yeah.
There seems to be no rhyme or reason. And right now, during this period, I mean, comics right now are just, people are just buying just everything.
Do you think we're at a saturation point, though, almost?
It's
with it?
crazy.
I think what's going to happen is 4 or 5 years from now, when people try to sell their copy of the first appearance of Squirrel Girl that they bought for $80 and they can only get 10 out of it, it's going to implode again.
Yeah.
Just like what happened with Harbinger.
Did you know they did a Squirrel Girl movie?
What?
Yeah. It was an animated series that...
Or like Big Hero 6. Remember when
Yeah.
that book was like so hot and then the movie came out and now no one cares?
Yeah. No, apparently they've done that Marvel series that they put out with her and America and someone else and somebody else. They did an animated thing of that.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I saw it on the other day. I was like, well, what the hell is this?
Was it like a web-only series or something?
No, it's on like Disney Channel or something. Disney FX or Disney
XD.
XD or something, yeah.
No, news
Or
to me.
maybe it was on Family. I don't know.
Did you
I
see
did.
her peek around the corner when I brought up Big Hero 6?
Hey, I'm a fan of Big Hero 6. You know,
She
I know
loves
that they're
it.
doing a TV series though. I don't know if it's going to be on the streaming thing or if it's going to be on XD.
No, it's on Terrarium.
Another related kind of thing to it's cartoon type thing is Boss Baby season 2 has just started.
What do you think, Carrington?
Did you feel that?
I am all
Did
about
you feel the eye roll?
Boss Baby. The movie I thought was it was good for kids and adults. The series I thought was even better than the movie.
Do you remember him going around quoting the movie, the TV
No,
series
I
after?
don't remember.
You were quoting the series.
And
yes,
so
you were.
I haven't started watching it yet, but I am going to be watching this week. Boss Baby season 2.
Well, in a couple of weeks, the Sabrina show.
It does start, yeah.
You know, and our Facebook friend, or guy, Gary, our friend of ours, he gives me crap because I haven't seen any of the trailers.
For?
Well, I haven't seen the Captain Marvel trailer. I haven't seen the Sabrina trailer. I haven't seen, the other. And he's like, I post them on the. I'm like, and I know he does. I just don't have to take a chance just to watch them. But I have not seen the Sabrina one yet.
When they posted the Aquaman trailer, I read about it on Twitter, and I started reading the comments about it, and I was like, everyone was like, oh good, now I don't have to go spend 2 hours watching it because I already know what it is. Because apparently the trailer was like 6 minutes.
Yeah, you
and so I'm not watching the Aquaman trailer. I saw a little bit of it. There was like a 20-second clip that someone had posted on Twitter, and so I got to see Amber Heard, and that's all I needed.
It looks pretty good. I saw the first time I seen the trailer, the full trailer. I think the teaser trailer what I saw before. But
I don't want to see that much of a movie
before
I
really
see
don't.
it.
That's like the whole Transformers movie, the Bumblebee one. It looks good, and I hate to say that because the last 3 Transformers have sucked.
What does that have to do with 6-minute trailers?
Well, because it's like about 3 or 4.
The latest one.
It's kind of a long one. Yeah.
That's like you're seeing the whole movie. Why would I go pay $20 to go see it in the theater?
Right.
What were you gonna say?
What was when we went and saw Venom? There was a trailer for. Was it a new James Cameron movie that actually looked pretty good? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Was it? I want to say
Terminator.
No, not Attila, but something.
Battle Angel Alita.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I finally saw that trailer, and
looked pretty
you would
good.
probably like that. It looks. I'm saying you as in Carrington. I'm sorry.
Carrington's nodding her head.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I said you, and I'm looking right at her, thinking we don't have video. Yes, I'm looking at because it's based on an anime, and it's. Have you seen it?
I read one of the comments.
Did you like it? Yeah. Okay.
The movie looked pretty
As
good.
her head bobs up and down real fast, like a chipmunk, happy chipmunk.
She agreed.
So yes, I mean, it looks really good. Yes, and that's the first time I'd seen the trailer at all. So.
I saw the trailer for that like a month ago.
And that one again, like you said, was a little too long too.
The one I saw was only like 45 seconds.
Oh, okay.
That was the teaser trailer then.
They show you a whole lot more.
Well, I don't want to see that much of a movie.
Well, back in the day, the trailers were only a minute and a half.
In a world where the trailers were only 1 minute.
I mean, go back
Comes
to that.
Aquaman.
You want people to go see the
6-minute trailer.
You want people to go back and see movies. Minute and a half trailer's all I need. Show me don't show me all the good scenes in it. Show me,
Well, comedy movies for sure need to quit having 2.5 minute trailers because by the time the 2.5 minutes are up, you've already seen all the funny parts.
All the funny parts,
yeah.
Exactly.
Most of those are Kevin Hart movies. Although he is in a movie that looks pretty funny. I can't remember what it was now though. But.
And I agree with you. I thought Baywatch was pretty funny.
Oh, you finally watched it? I thought, people panned
Baywatch
it,
but with Zac Efron, Baywatch
with Zac Efron and
the Rock.
The Rock.
I couldn't think of the big star in that. Sorry, I remember Zac
There
Efron.
were other people in it besides Alexandra Daddario?
Yeah,
there were.
You sure? Because I only saw Alexandra Daddario.
People panned that movie, and yes, it's a silly movie.
But people panned the series too.
But it was funny.
It had its people who liked it. So.
I thought it was pretty funny anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we discussed Titans, earlier. I think it was before we started recording, and I've got the first episode downloaded. I'm going to watch it and see how it is.
I watched it.
And you thought, so yeah. The best part was Robin
I didn't think the guy that played Robin, he didn't sell me on him being Dick Grayson.
Did you ever see that old fan-made...
Grayson?
Yeah, it's called Grayson.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I was just wondering how it compared to that, because that I thought was really good.
So.
Well, the Punisher movies still haven't matched Dirty Laundry.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But the Punisher series does.
Yeah. It's pretty good, but I still
anyway.
think Dirty Laundry's the best.
Yeah, I still don't think any of the Batman movies have even matched up to that little short they did with the
Batman and the Predator,
Predator and Aliens and Joker.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Batman versus Darth Vader?
I think
that
so.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yes.
And I even think that guy who did the Joker in that was just really good, too.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I'll check out Titans and, you know.
I
haven't seen it.
I
You
didn't hate it.
You didn't
but,
hate it, but you didn't like it.
Well,
You
I'll just say that I'm not going to make too much of an effort to watch the next episode.
Right.
I mean, it was okay.
And you haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet. People were panning her Starfire's costume.
Well, here's the deal. She wakes up in a car with amnesia, and you can tell that she had just spent the night at a nightclub. So that's why she's wearing what she's
Right, so
wearing
that's what I was
in photos.
thinking.
Well, and Chrissy said, you know, if she flew around in what she was wearing in the comics, her boobs would fall out. You know,
So
in the
she's
outfit.
maybe
Yeah.
getting another costume then.
She may.
Maybe. I don't know.
So.
But I hate the hair. The hair doesn't
Yeah,
You don't hate the actor's hair. You hate,
hate
the,
the
character's hair.
And yes.
Whoever's hair that is, I don't like it.
But I guess there's like a reasoning for it that we may find out. I don't know. So
I just know that she wakes up in a car because someone is after her trying to kill her, and they had killed her driver, and she woke up in the car and she has amnesia, and so she's like backtracking, trying to find out who she is.
So second season of Gifted has started. Has anybody watched any of Gifted?
Yep.
I'm a whole season behind. I've only seen the first episode.
I've seen the first season. I really enjoyed it. I haven't got started on the second season.
The second season isn't pulling me
It's
in
not
like the first
picking
season
up like
did.
the first season. Okay.
But we're only one episode in, right?
No, we're
Three.
both-
3. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it just doesn't have the pull that the first season
No,
did.
they've introduced a couple new characters, or have they introduced them yet?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the new characters aren't.
I haven't got to the Morlocks episode.
Okay.
I've only watched. They're either on episode 4 and I've seen 3, or they're on episode 3 and I've seen 2. I have not watched last week's episode. I'll just say that. And I know that the Morlocks show up. And James says that he thinks the Morlocks are going to be annoying.
They're very annoying in the comics.
Yeah. But
Caliban was a freaking... Oh, God, anytime I was on the pages, I hated Caliban. Sorry.
I'm a fan of the Cuckoos, but apparently
That
I'm the only
I-
one that is.
No, I am very interested in that. That's one of the main reasons I want to watch this next season is to see what happens with them.
Yeah. I think the other two will turn on Esme.
Have you been reading X-23?
Esme.
Have you been reading X-23?
No, I don't read any Marvel books right now.
Because they've been dealing with the Cuckoos and the fourth one coming back alive. And
yeah, and then they go and kill everybody or something.
yeah. So.
I'm just too weary of Marvel to pick up anything they're doing right now.
Marvel's best to be read. That's about it.
But I'm even contemplating not picking up the new Conan.
After his Avengers run, I'm kind of same thing. I don't want to read Conan because it's Jason Aaron doing it.
Oh.
So
That's too bad because Jason Aaron's a good writer.
he is a good writer.
Or
His
can be a
stories
good
are
writer.
really good. They were. I haven't read any of the new stuff because I couldn't stand the art.
Doctor Strange started out really good too.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think I can think of anything else.
Anything coming up that we need to announce?
Well, we do have the Steam thing coming up in 2 weeks. SteamCon in Sapulpa, where we at?
There's that. There's going to be a mini con in Muskogee this coming weekend. I think it's Saturday.
But to quote James, it's Muskogee.
Hey, I'm just saying. I don't.
Well, you know what? Mini-cons is where you always find the good deals.
It is.
This little con in Joplin that we just went to this weekend was in a little. It was either a middle school or an elementary school. I don't know, but it was just a school.
Yeah.
But there were enough comic vendors for just a $5 entry fee for me to be satisfied.
Was it
but
$5?
It was only $5.
I didn't know how much it was. So
But there were a lot of toy vendors there, so
there were.
I thought it was a decent con. I was able to find a few books. I was happy. Even if I hadn't found a whole lot of books, it was $5. I still would have thought it was a good con because there was a lot of stuff there Just
I mean,
didn't find anything
for the first
specifically
time.
for me.
I saw baseball card collectors or sellers.
Wow.
I'm like, well, I've never
So-
seen. I mean, it's been a long time. What's the Muskogee? Did Muskogee 20 years
If you're
ago?
local, maybe you want to run down there to the Muskogee Con and check it out. I might run down there and check it out. It's
I won't be able to because I'll be working.
not going to be too much out of my way. So
What
we got
weekend
that.
was the SteamCon?
The 27th. Or it's the 26th and 27th. We're supposed to be the 27th.
Okay.
But again, I told Mike I'd work the next 2
Is that,
weeks. And I won't be.
is that going to be a Sunday, I guess?
It's a Friday. It's actually a Friday and
So
a
it's a
Saturday.
Friday show?
Yeah.
So it'll be there Saturday.
Yeah.
And what are we doing there?
Just podcasting.
Just podcasting?
Yep.
Just talking to people?
Yep.
So you're going to do some... You're going
We can talk about steampunk comics.
We can
There
talk
you
about
go.
steampunk.
Yeah,
comics.
we'll-
I only read 2, but we can talk about them.
What 2 do you read?
Lady Mechanica and Legendary Red Sonja.
How is it Legendary Red Sonja?
They're fun.
Well, we can talk about other related stuff. Like
I don't know how
You
to
gotta let go of it being Red Sonja, though.
Have they done a Legendary Vampirella?
hmm
Is it still going, or is it?
They were all part of that universe.
Well, I remember they did that, but I didn't know. But this is spun out of that, and it's been.
Yeah, because Legendary Red Sonja was about the only one anyone liked.
I can see that. I kind of liked it better as well.
I could talk about
But
an
she's a
old
pirate in it. And
steampunk game that I played that was awesome.
Arcanium.
Arcanium, yes.
Mhm.
It's a great game.
It sucked. Anyway, no, just kidding. No, it was fun. I
Amazing.
played a little bit of it. Yes, I remember it was.
But it had some of the same people that did the early Fallout 1 and 2 games.
I still need to pick up the Battle Chasers game for the PS4
Oh, okay.
because it's kind of this whole steampunk kind of starts. It's basically if you've read Battle Chasers and you know how the art is.
Another thing that looks really good that's going to be coming out pretty soon is
Steampunk Joe blows up the universe. No. Okay.
Cyberpunk game that's coming out.
Yes, for the PS4, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
That looks
Okay.
amazing.
But
Still
yeah.
haven't played Spider-Man for PS4, but man, that looks amazing. Got to get that game.
Does it look spectacular?
Looks amazing.
Sensational?
It looks all those things.
What other books were there? Was it webbing? No.
Another. I was just going to say another early appearance. We were talking about the black suit earlier. Was that Spectacular Spider-Man? That just reminded me. I saw the Spectacular on the wall. And I remember. Oh, there's an early appearance in the Spectacular.
Yeah, because he went deaf
Yeah.
or went blind, and he had Daredevil, and Daredevil kind of helped him out. And it was a 2-issue Frank Miller story,
Yeah.
which is actually the first Frank Miller Daredevil. Funny wise, the sensation. It's Spectacular. What was it?
27.
Yeah, 27 and 28. Yeah.
So.
That was
It's-
the black costume?
No, the black costume. It was an early appearance. Was in Spectacular. It's
Right.
got the black cat on the front of it. Not the one where he's pulling off his mask in front of her, but an earlier one where she's kind of moving on the front page. You can kind of see her moving. So it was an early appearance.
I thought he had the black costume in that one too, in Spectacular 28.
I don't think so, but you got look for that. I don't remember what issue it is, but look for the one where it's got the black cat on there, and it's got mainly a black cover, and then she's got little bitty pictures of her, and then she's in the main big picture.
She's jumping like
yeah,
different
she's
jumping.
yes.
Okay, yeah, okay, I know what that was.
That
like
is
a
an
bus
early
or something, I think, or something.
early appearance of black
Okay.
costume.
Okay. But yes, back to the steampunk thing. It's at the Sapulpa Library, the 26th and 27th. They're going to have food trucks. They're going to have laser tag.
They're at the little one in
Wait a minute. Let me
well,
finish
no,
this.
No, this is important, I think. I
Anyway,
want to know.
we're going to be there podcasting on Saturday, and we'll do some Facebook Live stuff. Yes, now on
in
Saturday
Joplin,
in Joplin.
They had street tacos there. There was a food truck
There
out
was
there
it was
called Ghetto Tacos.
Ghetto Taco.
I was
Yep.
just wondering, how ghetto were those tacos?
They weren't that ghetto,
They weren't very ghetto,
but they were pretty good.
were they?
Speaking of tacos and street tacos, have you tried the Taco Bueno street tacos yet?
No.
I have tried all 3 of them, and my favorite is the chicken. They're not as good, obviously, as next door.
And you only get 3.
You can get 3 for $5.
Or you can get 5 for $5
You can get
there.
4 for $5 over there, and a
No,
drink.
you can get 5 for $5 over there, or you can get 4 and a drink
Right,
for
for
$5
$5.
over there.
Right. Ghetto tacos were better than the Taco Bueno ones, but not as good as Taco del Pueblo.
It's hard to beat Taco del Pueblo.
I know, it is.
Tortilleria de Pueblo.
Tortilla del Pueblo, yes, that word.
Yes.
Not Taco del Pueblo, but Tortilla del...
Tortilleria de Pueblo.
Located at 31st and Mingo, right next to Comic Book Empire. Or Comic Empire.
Come in, get you some tacos and some comic books.
Right. And they're actually located to the left, which is the north and the south of the shop.
Yep.
Just depends if you want to sit down and eat them or you want to get them to go.
And they're like crack on a tortilla.
They are.
And we do have the Tulsa Comic Expo coming up too as well.
Tulsa Pop.
Tulsa
T-Pop.
Pop. Yeah.
We're not going to be there, though. Unless you
No,
go.
we won't be there, but it's coming
Unless you
out.
unless you both want to try to do it, go there.
I think it would be kind of expensive.
Arthur would probably be happy to have us there. You're his friend. Why don't you ask him?
They just came in and hung up their poster today.
Why don't you ask Arthur?
I won't be there.
I don't
have to
personally know
work
Arthur.
that
I know Arthur through work.
Well, yeah,
I've
you
met
can ask
him
him
and
at
talked
work.
to him, but I don't really know him.
Well, why don't you ask him? Say, hey, I do a podcast. Why don't you want us to podcast there and give us a free table?
Right now, he's just trying. From what I understand, he's trying to sell tickets right now.
What better? We would bring in the fans.
We would-
Here's a watch,
That's pretty
see?
steampunky
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, that's a watch. I was cleaning up.
What's a watch?
The reason I did
Exactly.
I couldn't do anything this morning. Been working on my cleaning out a closet,
Yeah,
and
you
I
missed
found
book club because
I
of
did.
this.
I know I missed that. But I found a whole bunch of my old watches, and in there was an old Swatch watch.
Did you find some swatches?
I found my Swatch watch. I was like, oh, and my Spud McKenzie watch from the.
I had a Coca-Cola watch.
I didn't have a Coca-Cola watch.
Probably-
Wasn't that cool?
Should probably see how much that Swatch is worth now.
I need to. Yeah, probably.
Does it still run?
I didn't even check it.
But that Spuds watch is probably worth a few bucks too.
Yeah, it's got a torn band though. But yeah, anyway. So so what you got? Anything else?
I think I'm done. I just wanted. I think that's all the topics I have.
Any topic?
I got no topics
You got no topics or toppings?
on any of those
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
Speaking of toppings, pineapple is not a pizza topping. Okay, go on.
We're not going to start this argument.
I think another topic. I think we'll probably be bringing up maybe next episode is just talking about
How to get grease stains out of a comic book after eating pineapple pizza.
Okay, sure. No, we were thinking about talking about comic book jargon. Things that maybe not everybody would know. That and acronyms of comics. Like
TOS.
yeah, TOS,
POS.
LCS. Stuff like that.
Good.
And what is? I follow a gamer on Twitter, and she's always talking about NPCs. What is that?
Non-player
Non-player
character.
characters.
So is it like a background character? Or
Yes.
something? I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing now. Instead of calling someone an incel or a Nazi or whatever, you call them an NPC. When you don't like their opinion, you just say, "Shut up, NPC."
Didn't know that.
Wow, I didn't either.
I tell Dal that a lot.
That may have something else to do, some other connotation, but I know it as a non-player character, so.
Well, she's a gamer, so I'm
Okay, that's
assuming
probably what
that's
it is
what
too, then,
means.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then.
All right, I guess we're done.
Yeah.
This is Terry for Comic Book Straight Talk,
This is Dalian.
Kenneth,
Kenneth.
and thank you for listening.
and in the immortal words of Francesco, try to